All right, get ready for this deep dive. You guys sent in this incredible YouTube clip from America's Got Talent. And wow, I was floored. It's Sainted, this amazing gospel group singing Prince's Purple Rain. But honestly, it's the backstory that really had me hitting rewind like 5 times.
It really is so much more than a performance.
Yeah.
You've got resilience, second chances, the whole wild world of music rights, all packed into, what, a few minutes of TV.
Right. And that's what gets me every time with these deep dives. You think you're just clicking on, I think, oh, talent show clip, and then bam, there's this whole universe behind the scenes. So rewind a bit. Sainted was on AGT before, right? Back in 2020.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they were good, like really good, fresh gospel pop sound, but they got cut before the finals.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is what happened after. For some of them, it wasn't just disappointment. We're talking eviction notices, job losses, real life struggles.
Wow, I had no idea it was that rough. So wait, they went
Yeah,
through all that and then still came back to AGT. That takes serious guts.
for sure. And talent. But what really hit me was their attitude. You can just tell they made a choice. Laugh instead of cry.
Yeah.
Focus on the good stuff. It's like textbook resilience in action. And that's a big reason why their story connects with people.
Absolutely. Okay, but they didn't do it alone though, right? I mean, Howie Mandel, one of the judges, he kind of became their champion, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. He was so bummed when they got eliminated that first time.
Yeah.
I think he actually even said something like, I'm going to give these guys another shot.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Mandel's mentorship. It wasn't just like an invitation back. He seemed to understand. Sainted needed the right vehicle to really showcase what they could do.
And that vehicle was Purple Rain. That's a bold move, right?
Absolutely. I mean, Mandel even called it the best song in the world. But that's where the plot thickens. Because getting clearance to perform Prince's music, it's notoriously difficult, like
Yeah.
almost impossible.
You know what? This whole Purple Rain clearance thing got me thinking. I always just assumed any artist could cover any song they wanted, but it's way more complicated than that, isn't it?
Way more. There's this whole legal chess match going on behind the scenes. Prince's estate is known for being very protective of his music. And for good reason. They're safeguarding a legacy.
Yeah, I get that. But for Sainted, that must have been nerve-wracking. Imagine pouring your heart into this song, but not even knowing if you'll be allowed to perform it.
Totally. And the clip you sent, it even says, getting Purple Rain cleared never happens. So you've got the pressure of the competition. Plus, this massive unknown hanging over their heads. I bet having those backup songs ready was a lifesaver, even if it meant, like, double the work.
So how does this whole clearance thing even work? Like, what actually goes into getting permission to perform a song like Purple Rain? Is it just about money? Or is there more to it?
Money's definitely a factor. But it's not as simple as just, like, throwing cash around. It's about respecting the artist's original vision. Think of it like passing down a family heirloom.
Hmm.
You want people to appreciate it, but you also want to make sure they handle it with care.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a great analogy. So how does that apply to Purple Rain? What kind of care are we talking about here?
Well, with a song like Purple Rain, you're not dealing with just like any song. It's a whole legacy. It's not just about the notes, it's what it represents.
Hmm.
Prince was really protective of his creative control, and his estate's carrying on that tradition. They want to make sure any cover stays true to his artistic vision.
So it's not as easy as like, hey, we love your song, can we sing it?
Yeah.
There's an actual approval process.
Absolutely. We're talking lawyers, negotiations, maybe even having to submit your arrangement for like review. It can get pretty intense.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even if you're willing to pay up, the estate just says no.
Wow, Sainted was really taking a chance here. Okay, so let's say you do get permission. Is that it? Or is there like more to this music rights puzzle?
Oh, there's definitely more. So once you've cleared the song for the performance itself, then there's the whole issue of royalties. Every time that song is performed, broadcast, whatever, a portion of the money goes to the songwriter and the publisher.
So in this case, some of that money from Sainted's performance would go to Prince's estate.
You got it. It can get pretty complex.
Yeah.
Especially with a song as iconic as Purple Rain. There are all these different types of royalties for different uses. It's all very carefully tracked and accounted for.
Man, it's crazy to think about all that happening in the background while Sainted is up there pouring their hearts out on stage.
Yeah, it adds a whole other dimension to their story, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about their talent and resilience. They're navigating this whole intricate system, too.
Which, honestly, makes their success even more impressive.
Yeah.
All right, so they get the green light to perform Purple Rain. What do you think of the performance itself?
Chills, dude. Straight up chills. You could feel the weight of everything they'd gone through, all that emotion, and the judges. I mean, Simon Cowell, Mr. Tough Guy himself, he even said it was a moment he'd never forget.
Yeah, he was basically speechless.
Yeah?
And Mandel, he hit that golden buzzer so fast, you could tell he was just beaming.
He saw something special in them from the start. And for it to lead to that performance must have been incredible.
Totally. But it wasn't just about impressing the judges, though, was it? This clip's gone viral. Millions of views, tons of comments, everyone praising Sainted and their story. Why do you think this performance in particular resonated with so many people?
I think it's the layers. You know, you've got the raw talent, that gospel sound that just grabs you, but then you add in the backstory, the hardship, the never giving up attitude, and then the whole Purple Rain saga on top of that. It's like a movie playing out on stage.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're not just watching a performance, you're witnessing this, like, triumph. And I think people crave that kind of inspiration.
Big time, especially these days. And let's not forget about the power of Prince's music itself. Purple Rain is an anthem, you know. It speaks to something universal. And Sainted managed to honor that legacy while still making it their own.
You know, it's funny. Before we started this deep dive, Purple Rain was just like a song to me. A great song, for sure, but still just a song. Now, after all this, I see it so differently. Like, there's all this history, emotion, legacy attached to it.
That's the thing about music, right?
Yeah.
It has this ability to connect us to something bigger than ourselves. And when you combine that with a story like Sainted's, it's powerful, man. Really powerful.
Okay, so we've talked about resilience, music rights, the performance itself. But there's one piece I want to unpack a little more. Howie Mandel's mentorship. What do you think it was about Sainted that made him go all in on them like that?
I think he saw their potential, plain and simple. But beyond that, I think he recognized something in their character, the way they handled the setbacks, their positive attitude, their work ethic. Those are qualities that go way beyond just talent.
And he knew that with the right guidance, that talent could truly shine.
Exactly. He didn't just give them a platform, he gave them direction. Helped them refine their sound, choose the right song, navigate that whole music licensing maze. He was invested, you know.
It really makes you think about the impact a mentor can have. Like, we all need someone in our corner, right? Someone who sees our potential, pushes us to be our best.
Right. It's not about handouts, it's about guidance, believing in someone, even when they might doubt themselves. And in Saint's case, Mandel's belief was clearly a game changer.
It's a beautiful reminder that we can all play a role in supporting others, you know, lifting each other up, whether it's through mentorship, encouragement, or just being there for someone when they need it.
Absolutely. And sometimes that one small act of kindness can have this ripple effect, inspiring others to do the same. And who knows, maybe that's the true legacy of Saint's story. Not just the music, but that message of hope and the power of human connection.
Yeah, it's like that pay it forward thing, but with talent and opportunity.
Yeah.
Makes you think, what could Breathe E be doing to support the dreams of the people around us?
You know, that's such a good point. Because Sainted's story isn't just heartwarming. It's kind of like a call to action, you know? It makes you think about the people in your life who have that talent, that drive. Maybe they just need a push, a connection, someone to believe in them, you know what I mean?
Totally. Sometimes the biggest hurdle, is just believing in yourself enough to take that first step. So maybe that's where we come in, right? As friends, family, mentors, whatever. Be those cheerleaders on the sidelines.
For sure. And maybe, just maybe, if we all support each other like that, we can create more stories like Sainted's, more second chances, more dreams coming true, more music that moves us.
Speaking of the music, there's something else about Sainted's story I found really interesting. The fact that they chose to do a gospel version of Purple Rain. I mean, it's an iconic song, obviously, but not exactly your typical gospel tune, is it?
It's so smart, though, right? They took this classic rock anthem, infused it with their own style, their faith, their story, and it totally worked. They bridged genres, brought people together, created something totally unique.
And that's what I loved about it, too. It wasn't just a cover, it was a transformation.
Sure.
It felt fresh, powerful, authentically sainted.
Totally. It shows that even in a world where everything feels like it's been done before, there's always room for innovation, new perspectives. You can reinterpret the classics in a way that speaks to a new generation.
It's like they took something familiar and made it completely their own. Makes me think of that quote, good artists borrow, great artists steal. But in this case, they didn't just steal it. They elevated the original.
100%. Makes you wonder, What other unexpected mashups are out there, right? What other genres could be blended? What boundaries could be pushed? Maybe that's something for our listeners to think about.
Yeah, what musical mashups would you create? I'm suddenly picturing a polka version of Bohemian Rhapsody. Huh, okay, maybe not. But you get the idea.
Not sure about polka, but I'm all for taking creative risks. Don't be afraid to experiment. Who knows, maybe those experiments will lead to something amazing.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the big takeaway for you? What's the one thing you hope our listeners walk away with?
I think for me, it's just that reminder that even when things get tough, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you, never give up on your dreams. Cena's story is proof that perseverance pays off, that mentorship can be magic, and that music can truly change lives.
It's also a reminder that we can all play a part in supporting those dreams, right? Whether it's through what we DO or just by believing in the people around us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And who knows, maybe if we all embrace that spirit of possibility, we can all create our own purple rain moments.
Moments of triumph, connection, pure joy. And on that note, I think it's time to cue the music and let everyone go chase those dreams. Until next time, keep diving deep.